Today we're making manicotti or manicotti, which are cheese-filled crepes. This is perfect for the holidays and it really impresses. So we're gonna go over the ingredients. There's like a multi-part process to this, and there are a lot of ingredients, but it's actually easy if you do take it step by step. And the crepes, which is the ingredients I'll show you right now, you can make these a day in advance, you can make them 2 days in advance, you can make them 3 months in advance, you can freeze them, okay? And then you whip them out when you need to make them. And these crepes are very similar just to any type of crepe. So we have 1 cup of flour, 1 1/4 cup of whole milk, 3 eggs, half teaspoon fine sea salt, and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. We're just gonna mix that all, combine it in a blender. Very, very simple. For the sauce I wrote with 3 28-ounce cans of tomato. That's gonna give you more sauce than you need, which is what I always recommend when you make any type of recipe like this. Whether you're making, say, like Sunday sauce or baked ziti or brajol, you always want to have extra sauce so people can serve themselves more, they can dip bread in it or whatever. So I'm using a 6-pound 10-ounce can. This is equal to 3 28-ounce cans of tomatoes. These are just whole plum tomatoes, but we'll just blend them to make the sauce. 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, 6 cloves of garlic sliced, 1 medium carrot that is finely diced, 1 large onion finely diced, half a teaspoon crushed red pepper, and then 1 pound of ground chuck. You can use any type of meat you want here, or you could use no meat if you like, if you want it to be on the lighter side. Typically, I'll serve these for Thanksgiving or, say, Easter as a first course. This is not going to be the main course. So I like to do about 2 to 3 per person. And by the way, this makes 12 to 16, the ingredients that we have here, just so you know. And that'll depend on how thin you make your crepe. Finally, we have the stuffing. 1 pound of ricotta that I drained. Now you can drain this overnight in a fine mesh strainer, put it over a bowl, the water will come out. Or you could take about 3 layers of cheesecloth, tie it in a ball, squeeze it, and the water will come out within a few minutes. So you can do it either way. 1 block of spinach, that's a 10-ounce block, but an 8-ounce, which is a half a pound would be fine. Heat it up. When it's cool enough to handle, put it in a cloth again, squeeze the water out. We want to take the water out of both of them. Have a 1/4 cup of parsley that is minced, 2 cups of mozzarella that is shredded, half a cup of grated pecorino romano, and then 1 egg. That's our binder that's going to prevent the filling from oozing out everywhere, which is what we don't want. Some salt and pepper, some olive oil we'll use too. Let's make the sauce first. This recipe that we're making today, manicotti, is in our cookbook, our new cookbook, Sip and Feast Family Favorites. It can be found right here on page 98. So because this one's a little bit more involved, we have also some process instructions. Most of the book won't have this because most of the recipes are fairly easy and they're going to be spelled out for you. Each recipe has a beautiful photo, as you can see here. So this is what we are making today. And there's 256 pages in the book. There's over 100 recipes. Most of them are easy recipes, really accessible. We really think it solves a problem that you might have of what am I going to make next? So this will give you a ton of ideas for that. Link is right here. QR code is right here if you're watching on TV. We really appreciate you buying it. We don't do sponsors on this channel anymore. We just completely stopped doing them. So the way we monetize this channel now is this cookbook and some of the ads that we run. But sponsors are a big, big portion of many YouTubers' earnings. And, we just don't do them. They didn't feel authentic to us. They might feel authentic to some other YouTubers, but, again, to us, we want to really only be pushing something that we truly believe in, which is this. If you don't like cookbooks, the recipe that we're doing here today will be fully in the description for you. And again, if you don't like cookbooks, buy it for a friend or family who does. Thanks. Okay, so really simply, instead of doing the sauce first, since we're doing everything in one day today, we're going to just do this crepe batter because you got to let it rest for 30 minutes. So that's 1 1/4 cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of oil, half teaspoon of fine sea salt, 3 eggs, and then 1 cup of flour. So this is going to make, again, 12 to 16. Just double it, triple it for however many you want to make. Just blend it for about 30 seconds, scrape down the sides so that like any stuck flour gets incorporated. Just cover this with plastic wrap and take it off to the side for at least 30 minutes. All right, I just want to show you really quickly before we start making the sauce. These tomatoes are peeled. They're Italian peeled tomatoes by Cento. They're not their San Marzano or whatever. They're really good. I buy this can all the time. It's very inexpensive. Locally, I can get this can sometimes when it's on sale for $6 or $7, which is great, okay? Because that's equal to 3.5 28-ounce cans. They're very thick, though. You can see how thick they are. Okay, there's a lot of puree in there, along with the nice plum tomatoes. The recipe says add half a cup of water. That's gonna, to your sauce, you might need to add less or more depending on what brand you're using, just so you know. I don't want an overly thick sauce for when we bake this or anything, but at the same time, I don't want water. So I just wanted to go over that with you quick. And I'm gonna take some of these out and I'm just gonna hit up an immersion blender in here to do it quickly since my other blender is currently holding the crepe batter. Got a big pot here for the sauce, so it'll fit everything. You could definitely get by with like a 5-quart pan. This is an 8-quart for the sauce. Stainless steel, I'm just gonna heat it up for a second. And I will blend these. Okay, when you do this, just separate them. Like if you're at the top of the can, you're just gonna have a big mess. And you could hand crush these if you want some texture in it. I want this to be relatively smooth. Okay, touch of olive oil, all the ground beef. Spread it out just so it'll get some even contact on the bottom of the pan here. And just leave it alone for a second. So now that you just left it alone, now it'll brown that one side, which is fine. That's all we need here. I'm just gonna come in with my meat masher. $8 tool, love it. If you don't have that, just use any type of thing just to break up the meat. Your wooden spoon, anything. Making a very light meat sauce. You know, 1 pound of beef to 3.5 28-ounce cans of tomato isn't too much.
And if you didn't want to use this sauce, you could use our marinara sauce, which is also in the cookbook.
Yes, marinara's in the cookbook, and any sauce would be fine for this. And by the way, once you know how to make a crepe, you can use any sauce, okay? So you can do like a white, like a bechamel, which is delicious. I mean, you could break up chicken, you could break up, you know, shredded beef, put it in the crepes, turn it into a Mexican dish. I mean, you can really do anything with it. You can make savory things, you know, or sweet desserts. Like Nutella inside of it would be great. All right, so that's good. I'm gonna lower the heat now to about a 4 out of 10, so below medium. If you're working with a really wide pot here, you don't have to remove the meat, but I'm gonna remove it for a sec so I can do the onion and carrot easier. Just put that off to the side. You don't have to get every last bit out of there. You don't. Put the onion in. And we're just making a simple, you know, like a simple sauce here. The carrot will give a little bit of sweetness, touch of salt. If you don't have a lot of fat in the pan here, just put more oil, which is what I'm going to do. And I want to let these cook for at least 10 minutes. I want them to get very soft, but I don't want to burn them. I don't want to put any color on them, so I have to really regulate my heat here. Starts to burn it all. Take it off, grab your pot, remove it from the heat. Either do that or just add a splash of water and that will lower the heat of your pan very quickly. Okay, so they've been going about 10 minutes. You can let them go longer. I would recommend you go a little bit longer, but I'm in a little bit of a rush, okay? You could also run these all in a food processor, especially the carrot, run it in a food processor, or you can even take your immersion blender right now and that'll soften it up more. Okay, garlic, 6 cloves that are sliced. You can mince it too if you like. All right, let's let this get nice and fragrant, a couple minutes. This is just a really simple, basic sauce that we're using for this, but you can use it for just pasta if you like too. Okay, that's a couple minutes on that. This is a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper, but you know, to taste. I personally want a little bit more, especially with all the tomato I'm using, but you know, if you don't like it, don't use it at all. Let it cook in the oil for 20, 30 seconds. Then I have 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. Right in there too. 3 tablespoons is 45 grams. All of the recipes in the cookbook have US customary and grams, okay? Not imperial, US customary and grams. If you feel like your paste is burning at all, just a touch of water. All right, I want to cook this paste in here for at least 3 minutes, but I would say 5 is better. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. I'm gonna put all the beef back in here. All the beef, all the fat. Okay, mix this all in here, and now you have a lot of brown bits at the bottom, so we're not gonna use wine, though you could. So now you can use that water if you want, maybe a little bit. Again, tomatoes, if they're really thick, you're gonna use a little bit more. Okay, turn that heat up. Use the flat edge right here of your wooden spoon, and then just scrape it all off so you're cleaning your pot. I'm gonna season with a little bit of salt right now for the beef. That water's basically evaporated. I'm gonna put the tomatoes in. Well, I see a whole tomato. I didn't blend them all. That's all right. Just take my spoon. All right, bring this to a boil. Okay, and I just put a little bit of water into the can because there's so much leftover residual tomato, and I'll do the same thing for this thing. Okay, get most of it out. So it's starting to bubble, so it's pretty much hot. I want to get it to the point now where I want to simmer it for the whole amount of time that we are doing our crepes. If you did your crepes in advance, let this simmer for at least 30 minutes. I'm going to give it a quick taste right now. One ingredient I didn't mention is basil. We're going to add some basil in at the end, okay? Not right now. Those tomatoes are really good. A little bit more salt. This is an initial seasoning. We'll season it up again before we, when we assemble our manicotti, our crepes, our manicotti. I'm going to turn the heat off here. I'm going to bring it to my stove over there, and I'm going to let it gently simmer with the lid cracked like that, okay? All right, so we're going to make the crepes. I have my batter right here that's been resting. I have a regular non-stick pan here. This is a hard anodized, but it'll be fine. I also have a crepe pan. You can get one of these if you want. Okay, I'll link it. I want to heat this to about medium, maybe a touch less. These don't take long to cook, but you just got to get your heat right. Once you do, it'll be about 2 minutes total per crepe. All right, we're going to heat this up a little bit. You could use cooking spray. If you have olive oil spray, that would be great. Or you could just use olive oil and just a touch, like a little bit of a wipe. So another thing too, spatulas, or like, I love this, so you get right underneath it, especially if you're using a regular pan, you really got to get underneath it. Okay, touch of that oil, and then I'm just going to wipe it away. I put too much, but I'll just keep using that for the next ones. All right, so the only thing you have to do is when you pour this, you want to just move it around quickly so you're not using too much of it. You can also use a ladle. I'll do the ladle first, I'll show you. Maybe about that size, I would say. Maybe a little bit bigger you need. I don't know, I find it easier. I'm just gonna use this. Okay, just get it like spread out. Now this pan is bigger than my crepe pan, so I'm not gonna get them the whole size there. And I used a little too much on this batch. Just do it as fast as you can. That's attempt number 1 here. Now all you're gonna wait is for just a little bit of bubbling. And then as soon as that happens, you're gonna be able to flip it. You just gotta do it, you gotta wait until you can actually flip it. You know, and if you're worried about this, you could just knock that away. I don't want them to be as big as this pan. This pan's too large. All right, so underneath it like this. Okay, and I just come in like this, and I just grab them. Okay, and just come right back, and just let them go. So I got a 10-inch nonstick, which is gonna be better than a 12-inch. All right, there you go. This one's a little thick, first one, okay? Attempt number 2 with a smaller pan. Okay, quickly, go like this. See, this is what I wanted. Now, I might have used a little too much there, but I wanted to just fill the pan. And I think I used too much. So just go around like that. You want to get them thin as you can where they fill the shape. This one's probably a little thick. This first one was fairly thin. And my heat might be a little high, so back it off a little bit. Okay, just like that. And they'll get a tiny bit of color, but not much. Once your pan's nice and warm, it'll probably be about, I would say, 1 minute and 20 seconds to 2 minutes per. Yeah, if you got a big flat top, like a Blackstone, you can do like 6 of these at one time. And what I do is sometimes if I don't get enough in there, I'll just come back and pour. I think you get the idea. This isn't difficult. If you get one that's a little thicker, it's not going to make too much of a difference. You're going to get 12 to 16 out of this amount of ingredients for roughly a 10-inch pan or a 10-inch crepe pan. All right, I'm going to finish the rest. We're almost done. And remember, you could do these all overnight, which is great, or many nights before. Okay, so here are all of our crepes. I don't know how many I have. I think I have like 13, but don't use the 12-inch pan. Definitely don't use that. Even a 10-inch regular nonstick is a little bit smaller than a 10-inch crepe pan. I would go with the crepe pan. I just wanted to use the regular pan in this. But they're nice, you know, maybe a couple of them are a little too thick, but they're fairly thin and light, which is what you want them to be. All right, I'm just gonna stick these off to the side. Sauce has been going a while, so let's just check that out. Here's the consistency of our sauce, which is fine because we're going to bake these in the oven for a while. Set your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which I assume is right around 175 Celsius, maybe 180 Celsius. Okay, let's make sure our sauce is perfect now. So good. The sweetness, everything, that's perfect. Doesn't need anything except for basil. It's going to make it even better. I would take like 10 leaves or so. And you could also use some basil to finish it off too, like when it comes out of the oven for garnish, which looks beautiful. Get that in there. That is not going to make it worse. I'm going to put this sauce off to the side and we're going to assemble the crepes. All right, as important as our sauce is, our filling is even more important. Okay, so now there's even more water is accumulated in here. So I'm just going to get that out. Okay, that is 1 pound of ricotta cheese. That is a lot of parsley. A quarter cup I said, but I'd probably have like a half cup there, which is fine. Oh, this spinach, I got to see if it's chopped enough. Let's see. Yeah, that's chopped enough. Okay. So that's a box of frozen spinach. Okay, half a cup of grated pecorino romano. 2 cups of shredded mozzarella cheese. You can save some of the mozzarella to put on top, but I just like to bake it without it, just with the sauce. Okay, choice is yours. And let's combine all of this together. Make sure you really get it combined well because the pecorino needs to distribute. That's our main flavoring agent here. Mozzarella and ricotta cheese don't have much flavor. Let's give this a taste. Pecorino is the main flavoring agent, but I'm going to add more salt here. A good amount. Put pepper in this too if you like. I'm going to put a little bit.
If you were going to do a bechamel, could you add like a little nutmeg?
Yeah, definitely.
Or so to that?
Definitely. I love the bechamel one. So now you could use the same filling here and then top it completely with a bechamel.
Yeah.
You could even add a little bechamel inside of it, like right in here at this point. Okay, let's taste it again. Maybe a touch more salt. A little garlic powder in here too is not going to hurt. Mix it again. Get that final taste right. The reason you're doing this now is because this is your chance. After this, we're going to put the egg in. All right, so it's like an order of things, how we taste it. All right, add the egg in. 1 egg. That's all you need. And then combine this completely. I should be using a wooden spoon here, but I'm just using my spatula that I use to flip my crepes. I'm going to use this baking pan here. This is a Sicilian pizza pan, actually. I really like it. It's a square. It looks good. And we'll be able to like kind of like tuck the edges in and fit 2 rows of them. But a regular half sheet baking pan, so like a high walled one would be great. What is it, a 13 by 9 baking dish? So you probably need 2 of those to fit it. Probably have to use 2 dishes here, which is fine. All right, so I'm going to put a nice layer of sauce on the bottom here. This is why I say don't try to finesse sauce like when you're making recipes like this. Don't try to be like, oh, you know, I'm going to do the exact amount. Everybody's going to want more sauce when you serve it. So a really nice layer there. And this I'll just leave here for now. Bring over my crepes. And it's really as simple as just rolling a cigar. If you want to get fancy here, there's always going to be a better side and a worse side on your crepe. The worst side is going to be where you were spinning your pan. So sometimes like when I'm like going like this and it comes in. And so you would think like, okay, I want the better side here to be the outside. That's something that like we don't do here on this show. Like we make really good food, but you know, this isn't a 3-star Michelin restaurant. And as you get older, you realize all that stuff is like kind of a joke because you're trying to like get your dish done as fast as possible and everybody eating it is going to eat it in 5 minutes, right? That's the truth. It's the truth. You know, once you have kids, you'll realize that. You know, if you get them to stay for 15 minutes, that's a win. That is a huge win.
It matters more about how it tastes.
Absolutely. Spread it out like this. Actually, put it a little bit there.
It's like you're making a sushi roll.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. And I'm making these fairly big because the crepes that we made are big. All right, just like this. Now, like I was saying, the ends, you can kind of push them in. So we're going to be able to get two in a row like this and just go across. All right, do another one. Again, you can check your bad side. You want to be the inside. So this is our bad side. The other side is nice and smooth. Nobody's going to care at all. You can even put a little sauce into these right now if you want. So, you can keep it fairly in the middle here because what's going to happen as it bakes, it's just going to go like this. All right, going to rinse and repeat. 13 I was able to do. I finished all the stuffing exactly. I might have stuffed a little. These are the first 2. I stuffed too much in the beginning. So I was like starting to back off a little bit. You can do a little surgery here if you want. If they're too long, you can cut some of the ends off if you like. I just leave it all. Again, it looks rustic. So I'm going to take some of the sauce now, and I don't want to cover it completely, but, I like to go like that. You could always put more on afterwards. That's why we made all this extra sauce. Again, if you want to top with cheese, totally fine. If you're going to top with cheese, absolutely do what I'm doing. But either way, you could just do this. Stick a piece of parchment paper on top of it so nothing sticks really. And then just wrap it like this. So we're going to bake this for 20 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we're going to pull off the cover, both the parchment paper and the foil, and let it go for another 15 minutes until it gets like really nice and golden on top. Make sure you let like any baked pasta, anything like this, let it settle a little bit before you serve it. You could put sauce on the bottom or on top. Most people are just going to want to drown it on top. And we will give him 1 right now, I think. Maybe a touch more on top too for him. This is why you just really want to make a lot of extra sauce. Give him a basil leaf. Make it nice for him. All right, James, this is your favorite. No, I don't know if it's your favorite.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember.
So what's in it?
It's stuffed with spinach, ricotta, pecorino, romano, and it's with a meat sauce. Okay, that's the outer edges that don't have the cheese in it. That's the pasta, the crepe that I made.
Well, that's good. All right.
Crepes are light. They're supposed to be really light, which is the advantage of using crepes instead of using like the pre-made shells that they'll sell. Like Barilla and a couple brands sell them.
Yeah, I think this is one of my favorites, actually. Very good.
And let me know what you think of the sauce, too, on its own. Yeah, that's a huge piece. That's tremendous. That's why you gotta let it cool down, too, for this. When your son tries to shove in like half of the manicotti at one time.
This is so good. Like, seriously. Like, crepe is very good itself. Like, very light. The filling's, like, great. It's perfect. I guess you can do this with other fillings, too. I like this one. I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10.
There you go. Haven't had one of those in a long time.
I just gave it like a week ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm an egomaniac. I need 10s at all times. You did give a 10 a week ago? I thought it's been a while.
I gave like a 9.5.
You gave a 9.5 on the cheesesteak.
To the cheesesteak, yeah.
The same thing.
That's not quite a 10.
Yeah. 10s you've been reserving for very, very rare situations. Mm-hmm. You like that meat sauce too?
Yeah, it's great.
What about sausage in this instead? People want to know. Do a sausage sauce, or you think the meat sauce is fine?
In the filling?
No, for the sauce itself. Though you could stuff with meat too in the filling.
I think the meat sauce is fine.
All right, I don't really know what else to add. This one is in the cookbook, and there are about 20 other recipes like this in the cookbook. We intend to make a good amount of them into videos, but a lot of you are just going to want to hold the book in your hand so you can have it and write in it or whatever else. We really appreciate you watching.